what we're going to do is we're going to get into why we've invested in the Galleria project. So introductions first for those who don't know us. I know I'm just looking at the names of people that have signed on. Definitely some of you are past clients and know us well. My name's Alex Wilson, broker owner and team lead, broker owner of Remax Wealth Builders, team lead of alexjwilson.com. And beside me, we have Kyle, co-founder of Remax Wealth Builders and also an investment specialist and a condo investor himself. So we both have bought in the Galleria project, and we decided to do this webinar last week and send it out to everyone because we saw the launches happening downtown. We saw the high price points of those launches, 28 Eastern being 28 Eastern, 199 Richmond. And then we had meetings with the developer, and there's another tower coming up for Galleria. But there is some great existing inventory available in towers 1 and 2, and they're going to be shutting off sales at the end of next week, August 14th. There'll be no more sales in Galleria 1 and 2. They're going to stop those sales for a period of time until they open up the sales center wise, and at that point they're going to increase pricing again. So we saw incredible value for the project wise, and we really believe in the location. First and foremost, we both live in the area, so this is not something where we really have put our money in our mouth is where in regards to like we invested in the project, but we literally both live where I said we don't live in there. We're neighbors to the area. I'm to the west of it in the Junction, and Kyle is to the south of it in Brockton Village wise. So we've seen this area change and develop and grow, and we see it as a great opportunity wise for investments. So what we'll do is we'll jump into a presentation just to educate people on this site, and then we'll open it up to questions wise for individuals on why we like this site, and if they're interested, how they can get involved. So I'll just share my screen now. Okay, so just some more information on myself. As we said, team lead and broker of record of Remax. We really need to get you a slide, Kyle. I'm just realizing, seeing this, we need to get Kyle a slide. But whatever I have here, Kyle is the same. Been the #1 agent of Remax Condos Plus since 2009. Diamond Club selling agent at Remax. All this great stuff, awarded the Remax Lifetime Achievement Award at 35 years old. And there's all the stuff about us and selling and everything like that, and our selling accomplishments wise. And we actually did the most transactions in Ontario for Remax in 2019. But that's all well and good. But what we like to promote is our investment success. So I've turned my initial deposit of $39,300 in a condo that I bought at Gladstone and Queen. Now my real estate portfolio is worth $14 million, all from the start of that deposit. And if you go to our website and go to the Insights tab, or if you go into YouTube, you'll see our leveraging equity webinar, and I go through how I've done this, and anyone can do this. So how you grow a portfolio from that small deposit into $14 million is using the equity in your investment properties, and as they go up in value, you're able to draw equity from those and continue purchasing more properties. So instead of having one property going up in value, you have 3, then 5, then 7, and personally, I'm up to 16. But that's how that deposit got to where it is today. And one of our most recent investments, myself, and then Kyle has his own portfolio as well. That's probably the last condo you bought was in Galleria, right?
Yep.
So we both bought in the Galleria project. Now, this is a great slide to start off with. And Kyle, why don't you talk about the master plan of the community wise and the value of buying in a master plan community?
Yeah, exactly. And the real magic about this project itself is that it is a master planned community, meaning that it's not a single standalone tower that the developer's building. They're actually redeveloping a 20-acre site in the city. That size of space is almost unheard of. There's very few of those developments going on. and it's going up at Dufferin and Dupont. Plan means, they've done a lot of consultation with the community, and it means that they're really trying to build a community in this space. They're replacing Galleria Mall, and they're making sure that the community is not losing out on anything that's currently there, including the current community center that's there. So they're going to be redeveloping all of the amenities that currently exist on the site, plus adding a bunch more. That includes developing a brand new community center that's going to include a daycare. They're going to install an 8-acre park. They're going to have 300,000 square feet of retail space, 30,000 square feet of office space, 3,000 residential units. So this alone is, going to be a small city. Like when it's done, they're trying to make it into a destination similar to Shops on Don Mill. So people are going to want to come here, not trying to escape it. It's not just a house for someone to sleep in. It's a destination place you can live, play, work. And that's going to be one of the huge benefits of the entire master plan community.
And because it's master plan and it's 8 towers wise, the first towers are always the cheapest. So as they continue to develop more and more towers on the site, all those launches will be more expensive. So you have a built-in profit in a way in your unit because you're getting in the first towers, which will be sold at the lowest possible price point, and subsequent towers will be more expensive. So not only do you get the community and a destination, but you get the investment value of being a first mover in the development wise. And they've already broken ground. We were at, I think in the email we sent out, there's a picture of me at the groundbreaking wise. And we will get into talk about a little more about the community center in the slides, but the community center will actually be completed before the first resident moves into the first tower. So if we look at, I'll give an example, City Place, which was another master plan community wise, all the towers are done in City Place wise, and I couldn't even tell you when that development started, maybe in 2000, so 20 years ago. And they're just now finishing the school and community center in that area. So if you're a buyer in that development, a first buyer 20 plus years ago, you didn't get any benefit from the community center and the school for the past 20 years. So it wasn't built. It's just getting completed now. So I think it's a massive that they're actually doing the community center first, so that everyone gets to enjoy it as the building's being done. And I just saw someone raise their hand. So if you do have any questions, there's a question and answer box at the bottom of your screen. Just put the question in there, and we'll go to those questions at the end of the presentation. So current site, as we said, it's a mall. I thought it was cool. And what I mean by cool was, it reminded me of the old super mall in Sudbury. Kyle and I were both, and it had, in 1970, it was still the original mall from 1972, never been renovated. So this ugly brown tile throughout it was. So it was really a throwback mall. So that's the site. And because you have this inner city mall, this large site, you're able to get this master plan community. And you're surrounded by residential, so you're not going to be, oh, is there going to be a whole bunch of towers going up around me in this area? There isn't, because now you're surrounded by residential houses, which sell. To get a decent house, I think you got to be minimum 1.5 in this area. Anything under 1.5 is going to be a dump. You'll see some things trading north of 2 million in this area. So what you'll have also as well is this. Why people live in this condo, they want to live in this area where they can't afford the houses, so they'll be in the condo, which will be the affordable option. You'll see a big divide between the pricing of the freehold and the condos in this area. So the new Dupont City Park community wise, that's where Kyle was talking about. You have the master plan of the community. And you see this triangle, and you may be wondering what's with the triangle logo for the development. Well, the triangle actually represents the split between the residential component and the park community space. So it's basically, you have the site, and it's basically, if you think of a square cut down in half, one side is the residential component, residential, retail, and commercial, and the other side is your parking community center. So you do have this beautiful, massive park that all the buildings are facing down on the south side, which I think is really cool. And as Kyle said, there was massive community consultation for this site-wise. So you're getting a development that the community participated in, that the community supports and approves of when it's going to be completed wise.
Yeah, and there were multiple rounds of community consultation as well. Like this was years in the making. So, it wasn't just thrown up. All of the approvals are in place by the city as well. So they've spent a lot of time investing in that community consultation and making sure that community is integrated into the development.
And as Kyle said earlier, it is like it'll be its own little small city. So when the project's completely done, so when I mean completely done, all the towers are built and everything, you're looking at 2030. At that time, it'll be like its own little Liberty Village in a way, and people are like, oh, I want to live in the Galleria community-wise. But the benefit is it is master planned and not a jumble of buildings like Liberty Village is, and it's just a traffic nightmare. And speaking of traffic nightmare-wise, what's our next slide here? We'll go to the builders-wise. I'll leave the traffic nightmare part off because I know there's a slide about it, but the public transportation we'll get into a moment-wise. Oh, this is an old slide then. So when this building was originally being developed, there was ELAD Canada and Freed Developments wise. ELAD has bought Freed out, so this is ELAD that's developing the site. Now you may not recognize the name ELAD, but ELAD is an international developer based out of Israel wise, and they have developments around the world, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And famously, they own the Plaza Hotel as well in New York City. We're very, very, very well-funded, backed developer behind this project-wise, which is important because you want to know that your building's being built. So ELAD, originally the site was locked up by Freed, a collaboration between ELAD Canada and Freedwise, and then ELAD bought Freed out and is sole developing the site. Oh, I love this. Kyle, why don't you go over this slide here? I do this actually shows that triangle formation in the slide.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the entire site of the development. It's actually 20 acres, like I mentioned before. And as Alex had mentioned, the triangle in the top right corner, that's going to be where all of the development happens. The commercial space, the condo towers, the office spaces. And it's going to be divided up into five different blocks, yeah. And there's gonna be 8 towers spread across those 5 different blocks. The total remaining area, the 8 acres to the southwest, is gonna be park space, including a brand new community center. They're gonna have things like a skating rink. They're gonna have fields there. They're gonna have sitting areas. If anyone's been to that site right now, it does have a small park, but it's not really usable. You would not wanna go there. So they're spending a lot of time and money to redevelop that entire space to make it a true destination that people in the community are going to want to spend time in, not just walk through like a lot of the kind of parks that you may see around the city or in different areas as well.
And talking about walking through, you'll see these wide pedestrian corridors. You see one where the Muse-wise Plaza is what they're trying to create as gathering space for the community-wise. Again, that's the pedestrian-friendly nature of the whole development for the residents that will be living there. And then that's where you'll have your retail component servicing the 3,000 plus units in here for individuals-wise. And currently, right now, what they've launched Block 5, and Block 5 is towers 1 and 2. So what you're looking at is you're going to be looking at your far west corner of this development-wise. That's those are the towers that are currently launched right now. So we talked about the community center, 75,000 square feet, and provide a child care center for the community as well, which is huge for anyone that's going to be having children. And this whole development has 1 bedrooms all the way to larger 3 bedrooms wise. So it'll allow for that single individual first moving into the 1 bedroom, meeting someone, and maybe moving up to a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom unit wise, having their first child, and then potentially even raising a family in one of the 3 bedroom condos. So it's actually a community you can stay in throughout your lifetime because it does have that large range of different sized units wise. There really isn't many studios in the development, which is a good thing. It's focusing on that larger footprint wise, which is going to attract that young professional and family. And the demographic that we're thinking that is going to like this area, once we've had that question, it's like, Alex, who's going to live in this area? It's going to be for professionals and families that don't want to live downtown anymore, but don't want to leave Toronto. And that's really what Central West is what we've coined it. Central West is going to offer individuals wise. And Kyle, being in Brockton Village and close to Bluerdale, and I'm in the Junction wise, these are areas that people really, really want to live in. But right now it's, for the most part, just houses they have options for, and they're priced out of the neighborhoods wise, or they're living in basements. This is going to provide them with brand new inventory wise that they're able to move into and call their home. So we're expecting, really, I'd say your typical individual is going to be 28 plus moving to this area wise, well-established professional making good income, that wants a quieter community and neighborhood wise, but still wants being in a dynamic area like Toronto.
I want to add on to that, Alex, because it's not just investors purchasing in this building or just renters renting it. Probably about half of the inquiries about Galleria that we received was actually from the people that own houses and might want to downsize to a condo. You know, their parents are getting older. So a lot of people in the community are actually invested in moving into this development as well. Plus,
go ahead, sorry.
No, do you want to add to that? And my point was...
Oh, I was just going to say, and speaking about people in the community, we both bought it as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I live next to Dufferin Mall, and I can attest how amazing it is to have amenities that are walkable. I can get to a grocery store, a Walmart, a bank, all within a 5-minute walk. So, you know, this community bringing extra amenities into the space, in addition to the people that are living there getting access to those as well, you know, that's invaluable. You don't have to drive. You can walk everywhere you need to go, and Lansdowne subway station is a 9-minute walk from the west side of the development, from the Tower 1 and Tower 2.
And speaking about the development wise, so 2,800 condo units going in, plus there'll be 150 residential units designated for affordable housing. So what affordable housing is? It's not low income housing. It's just rent to income geared. And the 150 affordable units going in, it's 80%. It'll be rented at 80% of the market rent.
Alex, it's 100% actually.
Oh, 100% of the market rent. Okay, thank you. So
it's the highest it can possibly be.
Yeah, so it's the highest tier of rental housing wise. So what that means, the market rent, which I believe is CMHC decides that, right, Kyle?
I'm not sure exactly, but it'll be the Toronto area with the average.
Yeah. The CMHC decides on what 100% of market rent is. Now, not market rent for condos wise, it's market rent across all the apartments and everything. So if you're looking at a one bedroom, the 100% market rent, I'd have to look it up, would probably be about 12 or 1,300, and the 2-bedroom probably be 1,800. And so the individuals living in those it's going to be your teachers that are starting out, that are lower salary wise, the people in the community that are supporting communities wise, that may be at a lower salary base wise, but it will allow them to stay in the community. It's not low income housing or homeless shelters or anything like that. It's really geared to individuals that aren't making 6 figures per year. You know, maybe they're making a salary of 40 to 50,000, and they're just getting started out. And those are the people that are contributing to the vibrancy of community. Very, very, very important to the development of a community wise. So you have that spread of individuals that are all working together to support each other.
And with all master plan communities now, the city is requiring affordable housing to be included as well. So this is standard now moving forward. And the is actually most of the time, 20% of the units in the development need to be affordable housing. So for that's only 5%. And it's going into the very last phase that's going to should be completed around 2029, 2030. All of the units are going to be owned by one single real estate investment trust as well, that they're going to manage. So it's going to be professionally managed. And like Alex mentioned, is going to bring the diversity to the community. That's so important.
Yeah. So what we, okay, so we saw in the map wise, and this just talks about the community consultation and everything that's going in this development. On the south side, you're going to have the park, but in the residential side, they are creating what they're calling Point Plaza, which will be a community gathering space, which again, if we think of, Dundas Square is obviously the largest and most significant one in Toronto, but just think of all those great community gathering spaces throughout Toronto, which end up really defining a community-wise. Mel Lastman Square. What are some other ones? Can you think of some other ones, Kyle? Points-wise, but they're just, they end up being great community spaces where people can gather and meet, or there'll be different events that'll be able to rent that out, put on. So I think another great thing, I would say that we go back to the Liberty Village example, there isn't a community gathering space in Liberty Village that doesn't exist in the community, because this is fully master planned, sole source, one developer wise, the whole thing being planned at once. You can have these great little items built into communities. Okay, the transit part. So you may think this is far when you think, oh, Dupont and Dufferin, but also talking about the scope of the site. When Kyle said it's a 9-minute walk to Lansdowne Station, you may be thinking, but you said it's at Dupont and Dufferin. The site is so big that it goes through all the way from Dufferin to essentially Lansdowne. It's not right to Lansdowne. It's
to Emerson, and there's a back
Emerson, yeah,
into the Lansdowne subway station.
Exactly.
It's the one that I always use, so I'm very familiar with it.
Exactly, yeah. So you have an access point from Emerson into Lansdowne Station. So basically, the whole site is 2 subway stops, or one subway stop between, and you're going between the 2 stations. That's how big it is. So the towers that are currently launched, you're actually better off walking to Lansdowne Station versus Dufferin Station, because that's how big the site is. So your 9-minute walk to the Emerson location. Dufferin TTC Station, a 15-minute walk away from these towers. There's going to be TTC bus bays in the development wise, and why that's relevant is Dufferin is actually a major bus route. And why we bring that up is some people may go like, oh, buses, but Dufferin's actually a good bus line. To say there's a good bus line, you frequent buses that are going on Dufferin because it's such a popular route wise. I've taken the Dufferin bus. Kyle, I'm sure you've taken the Dufferin bus as well. And that's where if you go to Dufferin wise, you can get down to the X if you wanted to. If the X is going on, you get down to Exhibition Place. You can get down to Ontario Place by just taking the bus down Dufferin. You can get to Yorkdale Mall just taking the bus going north. It's actually a very connected area. So you have your north-south on the Dufferin bus line. You have your east-west with your Dufferin and Lansdowne subway stations. And also the Union Pearson Express is only a 25-minute walk away. So whether you want to go up to the airport wise, or if you want to get to downtown in only 8 minutes, the Union Pearson Express is only a 25-minute walk away as well, which I'm close to, and I frequently use the Union Pearson Express. It's a great way that's the only way we get to the airport now, is we just take the Union Pearson Express. Arts and culture. The arts and culture community. So when Kyle and I first bought our first investment condos, we bought in Queen West, and the Carnaby was the name of the development. The final address is 20 Minowin Mike and Lane. If anyone saw that on the resale market. So we bought those in 2012. Now, 2012, that was before Vogue magazine had voted West Queen West the second coolest neighborhood in the world. There was still sketchiness in the area. People were like, oh, why are you buying there? But I already lived in the area at that time, and I saw what was up and coming in that area. I'm like, man, this area is really going to take off. This is a place that people that want to live in. And we both still own those condos today. And ever since 2012, the area has taken off. And you saw it get voted the second coolest neighborhood in the world. What has happened is that became incredibly expensive. So good for Kyle and I's investment, but not great for arts and culture. So when you think West Queen West and arts and culture wise, the arts and culture has been priced out of West Queen West. And this is what happens. So an area gets gentrified. Well, first of all, artists go to an affordable area. So the artists go to affordable area. Then people with money that like associated with artists start moving that area because they want to be cool. And then other people start going there because they start, oh, the cool kids are hanging out in this area. I want to be in that area. Now people are essentially paying to be cool by living in an area, and that's when you have full gentrification of a neighborhood-wise. So all the artists have been priced out of this area. All the art galleries that used to be here are gone. And where they moved, they actually moved up to Dufferin, and they're on Dufferin, not Dufferin. They're on Dupont. They're on Geary, which is a really cool, trendy street up in that area. If you Google about Geary, that there's a lot of cool shops that are up on Geary-wise. It's a cool street that no one knows of in Toronto. That's all up in this area. So arts and culture has moved away from West Queen West, and they moved along that Dufferin corridor, Dufferin and Dupont, because that was the affordable area. So now that's where the cool kids know. And if you don't know Geary, that's because not everyone knows about it yet, but the cool kids know about it. So arts and culture has moved up there. Money follows arts and culture. It's a known fact. So now the money is going to be moving up there because people want to be there. Oh, I hear that. That's a cool spot. That's a cool spot. I want to go there. I want to go to this restaurant. I want to go to that gallery. I want to go to that coffee roaster that's up there. I want to go to that distillery that's up there. All these things exist up in this area-wise. And now we have the development coming. And people are going to want to live in this area because it's the cool area. And that's where money is going to flow. So we saw it happen in West Queen West, and we're going to see it happen in this area as well. So arts and culture, you always want to follow arts and culture.
So otherwise, this is the developer's brochure that they've put out, including some of the most amazing features that the development is going to include. So we covered all of this in the presentation as well, but there are some great cool pictures that you can see of this master plan community. So this is going to be what the site looks like. The buildings are to the north side of the development, and then that park is to the south side. So majority of the development is going to have unobstructed views looking out into the community. Vast majority of it is low rise all around it. So even if you're north facing, you're going to have great views. South facing, you overlook the park, it's never going to be blocked. West, you're going to be overlooking the community center as well, so that should never be blocked either because it's only 3 or 4 stories. So, amazing views are going to be one of the great features of this master plan community.
And I want to add here as well is that, again, see all those little structures. Those are all residential houses. So you're not going to that's not going to get developed. You're not going to see condo towers go there. So if you look to the west, houses, south, houses, east is houses. And what I want to point to the north, you actually have a rail corridor on the northwise. You do have some small commercial, but because of the proximity of the rail corridor wise, that land, you can't put high rises there either. So this ends up being a kind of island in a residential community. And the only reason you can have a development like this go up is because you had this mall that was built in 1972 built there. Otherwise, it would be fully residential as well. So just something that I want to add. You're not going to end up in a whole condo area. This is the condos. And once they're built, they're done. Nothing else. No more condos coming in this area.
Yep. Great point, Alex. So the residential units, nearly 3,000 of them, are going to be on top of the podiums on the site. Then retail is going to be underneath on the bottoms. Something to add about the retail as well. Alex, ELAD is going to own all of the retail. Is that correct?
That's the plan, yeah. Unless they sell it off, and then it would be sold off to a pension fund or something like that. It would be the retail would only be owned by one person.
Exactly. So because it's only owned by one person, they're going to try and diversify the offering. So there aren't going to be 10 co-ops. There's going to be one pharmacy, one grocery store, a diverse selection of shops because they're actually going to control and manage that experience. And then just moving back, so the phase 1 Alex had mentioned, the first 2 towers, Galleria 1 and Galleria 2, are at the top of the picture in yellow. The next phase that's going to launch is actually in the bottom section, kind of the low.
No, not that one. No,
really?
One just north of that. This will be the last building that's launched. It's the building just north of that one that has the gutter on the outside. That's the one that's launching next.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. And then that community park, the 8 acres site that's going to be on the south side of the park. So you can see how big it is in relation to the community that's around there. It's actually stretching from, like Alex had mentioned, Dufferin down to Emerson. So, you know, just a massive site that is being built on. And then that community center, around 95,000 square feet, brand new, and it's going to be open before anyone moves into the two towers. Then Alex had mentioned, you know, transit, a lot of community around there, but this is one of the most interesting slides, is how master plan community growth has outperformed the general area. Emerald City was a master plan community in North York. And
that ELAB built Emerald City.
That ELAB built it as well. And you can see it outperformed the surrounding area by, you know, almost 20%. You know, it's almost 10 years, but that's significant appreciation by buying in a master plan community versus, say, a standalone building or the surrounding area. City Place as well, you know, everyone's familiar with that, built by Concord, and the master plan has significantly appreciated more than the surrounding area. You know, these are serious numbers when you start to look at it, over 50%, you know, over that timeline.
And what you get as well is that every building that was built in City Place, that sold for subsequent more and more and more and more and more. So we're in the first two towers of 8 towers wise. So again, built-in profit wise, these are how these builders underwrite and do the pro formas of these buildings. But they have very detailed analysis that they do before these buildings get built. And when I say underwritten wise, you have the financing arrangements and everything like that with banks wise. So all the pricing, it has a bottom number it's set at, and it's only going to go up from that number.
Exactly. And then final one, Bayside, development on the east waterfront being built by Trident. And again, you know, you can see significant appreciation in that compared to the surrounding community. So just master plan communities, they bring so much more than standalone buildings, and they tend to outperform the surrounding area as well, which is another benefit that Galleria has.
Great. And again, when we look at the pricing wise, and I compare it, well, actually, I'll back it up a little bit. So when Kyle and I look at different developments across the city wise, we look at where our value is. Downtown Toronto is what I consider a blue chip stock. It's like buying Coca-Cola or something along those lines, or Canadian bank stock. It's blue chip. You don't need to worry about it. But downtown is incredibly expensive. And I have no issues when people buy downtown, because I know downtown is always downtown. But to get that property cash flow positive is very, 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 very difficult in downtown Toronto, because the pricing in this location is more affordable. You know, the 1+ dens here are $200,000 less than what they would be downtown Toronto wise. Because the affordability of the project wise, you're able to project to have some cash flow positive situations when the building is complete wise. And when we say value wise, you know, we see the changing nature of this location. So it may not be core downtown, but it's still in Toronto. And these are the different pockets that we identify when we see, like, oh, there's value in the city. When we bought in Queen West, when I personally bought in the east end of the downtown of Toronto wise a number of years ago, you know, well, you did too, Kyle. Like you bought in the east end of the downtown core as well. You know, we identify these pockets of value wise within Toronto. And then we like, there's other pockets that we see. You know, Oakville we see as the best value in the GTA. Obviously it's on in Toronto wise. You know, that's our GTA value play. And then our extreme value play is Calgary wise, for anyone that's been following us. But in regards to the city of Toronto wise, for people that want that Toronto address, this is our best value play in Toronto wise. And it hits all our boxes in regards to close to transit, always has to be close to transit. There has to be a sense of community that's going on. On top of that, you have Geary and what's happening on Bloor, the restaurants and everything there, that walkability nature of it. And then the upside of the changing nature of the area and the master plan it's building. So those are the three criteria we always look for when we're looking at our investments. And this easily checked off all 3 boxes wise for those. So what do you think, Kyle? Should we look at the questions now?
Yeah, let's open it up.
Okay. Okay, so there's Jason. Jason, a longtime client. I believe in a carless future for Toronto. What do you think about the value of parking spots for projects in Toronto and specifically Galleria? I told people not to buy parking in Galleria. I don't see a point to it. You're on the Dufferin bus line. You're 10-minute walk to the Bloor subway line, 25-minute walk to no, I'm drawing a blank on UP Express. And what I want to add as well, and this is my own personal experience wise, we live the Bloor Dundas area, and we're a one-car family. And as I mentioned at the beginning wise, I have 2 kids. My wife actually has priority with the vehicle because our kids are young and they have car seats. So if my wife needs to go somewhere, she gets the car. And last year, I just took Ubers everywhere. Well, my Uber bill, now I'm in real estate, so I'm using it from a work-related standpoint wise, but it's far more efficient for me to take an Uber than to pay for a second car in the city wise. And I don't have to worry about parking. I get door-to-door service. I took the subway a lot. I took public transit. And we've seen in the beginning, I'm an incredibly successful realtor, and driving, we're like, why do I want to drive? Our house, we don't have parking with our house. We have street parking with our house. So there are instances where we say you should buy parking, but I don't see any reason for you need to buy parking in this location. Kyle, I'll let you add on because you're in this area as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. There's so many other modes of transportation. There's going to be auto share or car sharing services around that area as well. So there's no need for you to need a car. Plus the development itself is going to have everything that you need on a day-to-day basis, a pharmacy, a grocery store, banks. So you won't need to actually leave it unless there's something specific that you were looking for. So yeah, carless future, definitely in this case, I don't think it makes sense for parking spots.
No, not an essential.
Yourself and live in the unit.
Oh, pardon, what do you say, Kyle?
Unless you're going to live in the unit yourself and you need a car, that's the only reason I'd recommend it.
And that's if you need the car. So like, be like, why do you need the car? Now I'll give an example. I'll go back to Kyle's wife. Kyle's wife does need a car because of the location of where she works. It is not a transit-friendly area. She's in the pharmaceutical industries, and their cluster is at 401 and Mississauga Road area. So she's a car-dependent individual, but otherwise, like what? You wouldn't even, there's a massive savings without having the car. And going back to Kyle and auto share wise, again, they're only a 1-car family. Kim would have priority on the car. You're massive auto share user. We haven't embraced auto share like you have, but I know auto share has been fantastic for you. Just even when now it's like a commercial for auto share, but just when moving stuff, like you come over and I'm like, oh, Kyle, I need help moving something. You bring a cleared out minivan in the back wise, and you're easily able to move stuff, and you just go and get the car and you pick it up, you drive, drop some stuff off, and then drop the vehicle back off. It's an incredible service wise. So we're really rambling on about parking, but yeah, you don't need parking.
Locker, on the other hand, though, I know it's a wait list now, but it does tend to be worth it for that extra storage.
Okay, so that was Jason. I think COVID has highlighted the importance of diversification. How do you diversify in a condo portfolio? You own different assets in different areas wise. So if we go back to talking about this specific location wise, houses are 1.5 million plus in this neighborhood. So if you don't want to live in the downtown core anymore, but you want to be in a different area, and we know that there's no other condos really being built in this area because it's all residential around there, but you can't afford 1.5 to 2 million, then you can look at different locations where you expect to see upside, even though it might be in a condo. We are seeing strength in condos in certain areas. Now, I will have to let people know the resale market and the rental market in downtown Toronto is absolutely terrible right now. Temporary in regards to what's going on. The reason it's terrible is that, well, there's no immigration, there's no international students. That's 200,000 people right there that usually come to the GTA, and central Toronto, downtown Toronto is usually the place where they go. If you look at U of T and Ryerson right downtown. On top of that, offices aren't opening back up until 2021, so people don't need to go to work downtown. So that's going to have a massive negative impact on the market overall downtown. But these are all temporary impacts, which will, once they open the borders up, and open office buildings back up, you're going to see people flood back into the downtown core. So if you talk about diversification of the portfolio wise, the downtown core is soft right now, but we can identify other areas where we still see strength in the market wise, even in the condo wise, because you end up in that residential community wise. Well, I don't want to live downtown, but I can't afford a house. I don't want to leave Toronto. Where am I going to live? This is where Central West really offers that diversification in the portfolio. See the same thing in Leslieville as well, but Leslieville is more expensive than Central West in this area. Ricky, what unit type, one plus den, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom would you recommend in today's market purely from an investment return perspective? The price per square foot seems to be lower for larger units, but it is also true to say that the rent to market value is lower for a larger unit. I had clients buying this project across the spread. I had people buy, like, look at the price per square foot on the 3-bedroom courtyard units wise. This is an incredible price per square foot. I'm going to buy this unit. I have people that want to buy the best, absolute best unit in the building. So they want to be high floor, south facing, overlooking the park with a potential view of the water wise. So they're going for that. It's different types of investing wise. Overall, it's looking at the floor plan and looking at the value wise and looking at the rent you're expecting to get on that property. I own studios. I own 3-bedroom units. It just really depends on the value and the layout specifically in the development wise. So it's a case-by-case situation. Kyle, do you want to add anything to that? I feel like I didn't fully answer the question, but it really just depends.
No, yeah, it does honestly really depend. And the layout, the floor plan is a huge determining factor in which ones we're recommending. But there's a 1+ den and both a 2-bedroom right now that are both, amazing recommendations that have great return potential for them as well. So
can you pull up the one? I was actually at a meeting on Galleria last night, and I want to give an example of a unit I didn't like and I like now, and it's actually directly related to COVID. So I just want to highlight this one, and I did not like this unit when the building first came out, and the reason I didn't like it is I looked at this unit and I said, well, that den can't be a bedroom; it's too small. So pre-COVID, I'm looking at that my den's going to be turned into a 2-bedroom. And then I have the ability, I buy it at a 1+ den price, but I'm going to be renting it as a 2-bedroom. Now this one here, I do like this unit now. So yes, the den is not a 2nd bedroom, but because there are more people working from home, this unit is incredible for someone that is working from home, because now we have an enclosed den with a door, and I have a window in the den. And now you get this nice, beautiful office space in your unit wise, separate from the rest of the unit. You have your bedroom here. The windows, pure west exposure, unobstructed views forever, because you're going to be overlooking the community center and then the residential community. So you're getting amazing afternoon sun into this unit wise. So overall, I had shifted, just talking about how things change, shifted from not liking it because I'm like, the den's on a 2nd bedroom where people can sleep. Well, now this den is like, this is an office. This is perfect post-COVID wise. So an example of what I think is a great floor plan in this development, but just also stating that I didn't like it before and now I do. So Ricky, given so many huge developments along Dupont, which is a narrow street without any exclusive lane for streetcar, well, yeah, there are no streetcars on Dupont. There will never be streetcars on Dupont. Should we be worried about the traffic on Dupont will become a nightmare in the future? No, because you're not going to drive on Dupont. You're going to go down to Bloor and take the subway wise. So this just goes to, when Jason asked about, do I need a parking spot? Will I be driving wise? You shouldn't worry about driving because you're not going to be driving on Dupont wise. Why would you want to drive on Dupont? It's like if you live downtown, why do you want to drive downtown? Any street downtown is bad. So why do you want to drive down there? You can't even drive on King Street in downtown Toronto. So it's just not a driving area. And all that development is a good thing because that's going to bring more wealth and gentrification to the whole neighborhood wise. Jason, how much should investors expect to put down in order to break even on completion wise? I always run my numbers at 20% down and then 5% annual rental growth rate based on current market rents. So that's generally what it is. 20% down is what I expect to have to put down. That's what we run our numbers on. Michael R. Hey guys, what's your estimate on rent per square foot next phase of the time of completion? I don't use a rent per square foot number wise, because a 1 bedroom is a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom is a 2 bedroom, 1 plus 10 is a 1 plus 10. I can give you an example. I'll give you a great example. I have a 1 bedroom at Minto West Side that I rented last year, and the 1 bedroom rented for $2,300. Because my unit was 428 square feet, but an incredible layout, the rent per square foot actually worked out to $5.30, which seems like a massive number wise. But if I go to other units in that building and then apply to $5.30 rent per square foot, it doesn't work. It's nowhere near that. There were larger 1 bedrooms that rented for less than mine, but it was just the nature of my unit that allowed me to get a higher rent per square foot. So I look at the asset class. If it's a 1 bedroom, a 1 plus 10, or 2 bedroom, if it's a 1 plus 10, that the den could be converted into a 2 bedroom wise. And that's how I do my analysis, because a rental per square foot, it's just not going to, it's not how renters are going to equate it going. They're not sitting there with a calculator going, okay, this 1 bedroom is 500 square feet. This 1 bedroom is 450. The average rent per square foot is this. I'm going to offer you this for rent. That's not happening there. Look, I want to live in a 1 bedroom. I want to live in a 2 bedroom. I need to live in a 1 plus 10. So that's basically how we look at it. And we look at what's the asset class at that point renting for.
Yeah, even things like what floor it's on. If it's on the 3rd floor versus the 25th floor, it's going to make a difference. So it's really on a case by case basis.
Yeah. And you know what? What we can do is, I'm going to give you sharing. I'm going to go back to you, Kyle. Do you have the pricing of pricing? Yeah, so you can see getting into the unit sizes. The units are over 600 square feet, and you have things trading, starting in the low $1,000 per square foot wise. And again, if these were downtown Toronto, you're getting into 1,300 plus per square foot for the units wise. So there's still great value in this project. And when we look down, the deposit structure is only 15% down. Which again, your capital outlay is less, 5% in 30 days, 5% in 210. So basically you're looking 5% this year, 5%, and then be 10% next year wise. Yeah, 10% next year, but spread out. So you really get a nice attractive deposit structure. And realistically, this building isn't going to be completed until 2024. So you have 4 years of growth wise before you actually take ownership of the asset wise. We see huge value, and we think the pricing is very, 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 very attractive wise. And we know that when the 3rd tower launches, and really what we'll say is when the 3rd tower launches, it'll be crazy, crazy busy. And you'll go, I want that unit, and you won't get that unit. It just won't happen. It's just how these initial launches are done wise. So you're not going to have an opportunity to pick what you want. It'll be a pressure situation wise, and you're just going to take what you're given. Whereas here, anything you see here, it is all first come, first serve. But anything you see here, you can go ahead and secure a unit today in an unstressful environment wise at a lower price per square foot than what the Tower 3 is going to launch at in 2 months' time. So you can have an enjoyable experience right now and actually pick something that you want, or you can wait until pricing is higher in 2 months and not get what you want and be in an incredibly stressful environment wise. So that's why we decided to do this webinar. Both Kyle and I are in these buildings wise. We saw some great value still in the project wise. We know that they're shutting down sales on August 14th, and we're like, let's put a quick presentation together, send this out to everyone because we see what pricing is selling downtown, and we're like, this is available for everyone right here, and they can continue to follow our journey and follow our own money because we're in this project as well. We got another question. follow-up. So what's the average rent for a 1+1, 2-bedroom, and 2+1? Just wanted to get a sense of cash flow. What did I do? What do my 2-bedroom numbers have? You'll get that. I'll send that out in the email wise, because I have a full analysis on the project via spreadsheet wise, and then mapping it out on certain units. The average rent on the 2-bedroom, I believe, was currently 26. My average rent on my 1+10 was 24. That's today, and then you got to do a 5% compounded growth rate every year beyond that. And then your 2+1, I didn't run numbers on a 2+1. So 2-bedroom, I believe, was 2,600. My 1+1 was 2,400 for the project wise. And you got to remember too, the other product in this area is absolute crap product. So you'll see stuff that's renting for lower in the area, but you got to put the new building premium on that for your rental calculation wise. But yeah, you're looking at 2,400 for the 1+10, 2,600 for the 2-bedroom wise.
Yeah, the existing inventory is nowhere near comparable in quality or the amenities that they offer. So it's not an apples to apples comparison.
No. And everyone will get the full pricing and floor plans again sent to them wise. And we've recorded this whole presentation, so you'll get a copy of the recording as well. That'll be sent to you. We've talked about deposit structure, but basically, yeah, sales are ending August 14th wise. In the email, you'll get a suite reservation form that'll go out to you. If you want to look at securing a unit wise, if you have any questions, you can book a call with myself or Kyle wise, and we can go from there and answer any questions. But you do have somewhat of a deadline because sales are ending August 14th. They're shutting them down, and then they'll increase prices after. So thank you everyone for attending, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Okay, bye guys.